What does it take to be a clinic owner? What does it take for us as providers to step into this space and do a freaking amazing job? If you want to get into this game because you want financial freedom, you want emotional and spiritual freedom, mental freedom from feeling like you're in these freaking golden handcuffs at this large hospital that's just making you slave away all day long, seeing patients, making chump change, get out of there. But you got to create some systems in place. These are probably the most important things like that you need to be hitting in order to be successful in this business. Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast. Nico Misleh here with HRT University. And today I've got a hell of a good podcast for you. And it's because it's a podcast that I wish I could have had when I first started out in business. So this is for those of you who are especially like, honestly, in the interims of starting your business, right? Maybe you haven't quite started it yet. Maybe you're even a few years in, but these core tenets apply to every single one of us, no matter what. So I think there's value here. But what I want to talk about today is like, what does it take to be a clinic owner, a business owner at large, but a clinic owner specifically? What does it take for us as providers to step into this space and do a freaking amazing job? Right? And get what we think we deserve. Everybody wants, the time freedom, the ability to see your own patients, to be your own boss, to drive the nice cars and buy the nice homes and all that wishful thinking stuff. And that's great. I want that for you. Believe me, I love you guys so much. I really do want that for you. Can everybody do that? No. Anybody can do that, but can everybody actually do that? The answer is no. No is the answer, because you have to be able to meet some of these things. There's a laundry list, but I think these are probably the most important things, like 4 or 5 of the most important things that you need to be hitting in order to be successful in this business, okay? So number 1, you have to understand that you don't deserve anything right away. Okay. Just because you've taken a whole bunch of courses, just because you're super knowledgeable, just because, you've got a good reputation in your small town, it doesn't mean you deserve anything until you actually carry forward with what you're going to do. Right? If you just set up a business, this is what I see so many people do this, not just clinic owners, business owners in general that I've helped, but clinic owners especially. We ride on this idea that, we went to school for so many years and we have this amazing, master's or doctorate degree and letters behind our name. And, we know things other people don't know. So therefore, I'm somehow inherently special and I deserve to just get really busy. And Susie down the block did it and she got really busy. So I should deserve that as well. You don't deserve any of that. I want that for you and you want that for you, but you don't deserve it. You don't deserve it right away. You have to build to that. And in order to build to that, you have to take action. Okay? When you first start out, there is just absolutely no reason that you should just be twiddling your thumbs. You should be hitting the ground. You should be getting out there. I always call it boots on the ground marketing, right? Meeting, networking with people, with potential clients, potential referral sources. You should be doing everything in your power to create that level of intrigue, that level of confidence, right? That you see in yourself and patients and potential referral sources see in you too. And again, you don't deserve any of that recognition at all until you do that. Okay, so think about this. The action that you're taking is what's actually going to create the clarity that you're seeking. Because it's only confusing when you just open up your doors to your clinic and it's crickets and you scratch your head and you think, why am I not busy? Right? I'm running these terrible Facebook ads, right? Or I told my boyfriend's girlfriend's boss about my clinic and it's still crickets. The clarity comes when you push into that space of uncertainty. Right? The confidence and the clarity will all derive from the momentum and the action that you take. That is why action is so important. That competency builds confidence. The only way you become competent is by taking action, even if it's uncomfortable, In fact, because it's uncomfortable, you should be taking action around those things. If you're waiting to feel confident, if you're waiting for your business to fill up with patients, you're going to be really disappointed. And you're going to feel like you wasted a lot of time, because you did. Honestly, guys, I'm a no bullshit kind of guy. Okay. There's no fluff here, because I love you so much. I want you to be the best, and I want you to do what's right for you and your family. And these are the things that I know to be true. And I think any other business owner who's doing well in their lives and in their businesses would agree with me here. So build it, push that momentum so that you can gain clarity and execute around that. Okay, that's number one. Number two would be, and I just created a whole podcast on this, having systems in place so that you maintain sanity. If you are a business owner, you have to create systems around what you do, even if you hate it. Okay, so that's not something that's inherently that you're inherently good at, right? Being organized and kind of that type A, type 1 personality where you're just very perfectionistic. You're very organized. You've got all your ducks in a row. This is going to be something that you really struggle with. And I'm speaking from experience, because I am the total opposite of that person. I'm not type A at all. Really. I am a big vision guy. I'm a dreamer. I'm a doer in some aspects, but I don't like to do the things that I don't like to do. Right. And creating systems and organizing stuff, that's not the things I like to do. If that's a weak point for you, tough crap. You have to do it. Either you have to do it, or maybe you have a spouse like I do who's amazing at it and kind of gets off on it. Amazing. Hey, babe, any chance you want to help me out creating these systems? Maybe you hire someone to do that. Maybe that is a thing that you're willing to, maybe take a little bit of a loss on at first, financially speaking, right? Maybe you're not going to be able to pay yourself extraordinarily well because you have to hire someone to do that. But because you did that, boy, oh boy, in the long term, your business is going to be on fire because you have systems in place, which grants you freedom, right? If you want to get into this game because you want financial freedom, you want emotional and spiritual freedom, mental freedom from feeling like you're in these freaking golden handcuffs at this large hospital that's just making you slave away all day long, seeing patients, making chump change. Well, fine, get out of there. But you got to create some systems in place, just like they have systems in place. You got to have the same systems in place so that you don't have to spend every waking hour of your day and of your life in your own clinic and your own business doing the things that really aren't providing that much value at the end of the day. Okay. So systems are key. Listen to that podcast I just created because it's amazing. Okay. What am I on? Number 3? Yeah. Number 3, you got to learn to sell, baby. Okay. All of these things, again, we went to school for something else. We went to school to be clinicians. We went to school to learn the deep sciences behind the human body and anatomy and pathophysiology and all that stuff. Important, super important. Once you step into the game of business and entrepreneurship, you have to gain new skills. It's not common to see natural born salesmen or saleswomen. Okay. It's not common. I don't really think there's such a thing as like a natural born salesman. I really don't. In the sense that I don't believe that there are natural born entrepreneurs. I think that a lot of people just happen to have that personality type and they kind of lean into that and they develop these skills just like we all do, or we all have to. Right? I mean, some people are better at math and some people are better at writing. But at this end of the day, those people are actually doing the work to become better at math or writing. No one's born writing Shakespeare. So the same is true for sales. And especially in our industry, this is just as an old trope. Medical providers are not salesmen and saleswomen, really. We were not designed to do that. We are helpers, generally speaking. We are interested in people and not things for the most part, unless you're a surgeon. And we have that shame and guilt concept around money and helping people and, is everything got to be free and all that sorts of stuff. You have to learn how to sell and you have to actually enjoy it too. You really do. And if you can't confidently sell your patient, there's something deep down that's missing there. One of the ways in which I think you can sell something to a person is you have to actually believe in the product or service that you're selling seriously. And I think with something like hormone replacement therapy, which again, we have been taught is the devil incarnate, and you never give it to patients, it's going to cause them cancer and all that crap that we've heard for years. And then we go through the conventional medicine system, which is just sick care medicine. We are so behind the 8 ball when it comes to believing in what we're doing. That's why there's so much freaking, suicide rates, and a bunch of physicians are like one of the highest of the career workforce, right? Demographics is because we learn all this amazing stuff, we think, and then we get out into the real world and we try to apply it, and all we see is sickness and death. And it's really disheartening. It hurts our feelings. This is why people love going into the wellness medicine landscape. We get to help people actually get better. We get to watch them with our own eyes get better over time. But you have to believe in what you're doing. When I'm in front of a patient and I'm trying to get them to do HRT, it's not a chore or a struggle for me. I don't feel grimy or greasy or sleazy. I don't feel like a used car salesman. I might look like one today, but I don't feel like that. You know why? Because I know this stuff is good. It's not just a subjective thing. It's not even just like me personally. The literature, the data says so. My goodness, like prescribing an antidepressant or a statin to someone, that would give me the heebie-jeebies, man. I would not be able to sleep well at night. When I prescribe HRT to people, I sleep like a freaking baby. I do, because I know that they're getting better, and I know that I'm helping them acutely and chronically, short-term and long-term. I know that things are going to get better. We're not being pushy with our patients. We just have to be clear with them. And we have to be clear about why we believe this is so valuable for them. And again, it's not just us, it's the literature saying so. So learn how to communicate that. My gosh, you guys, there are so many good YouTube videos out there. If you just typed in, sales information, or, learning how to sell one-on-one, there are hundreds of videos. And it doesn't matter if it's selling soap or selling HRT, really. The concepts are the same. And by the way, I'm going to create a lot more content around that, and probably push that towards my private community stuff. So if you're not a part of the HRT University private community stuff, you might want to hop on board, because it's going to be freaking awesome. I want to be able to show you guys how to do this. This is just, again, a way for me to give back, because I wish I would have had something like that when I first started. Man, that would have been helpful. Okay, let's move on. I think the fourth thing that makes such a huge impact is getting rid of this mindset that you're in competition with other clinics and with other providers. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't use that to your advantage. So just to be clear, like, in some way, shape, or form, we're always competing, right? Some of us are a little bit more competitive than others, right? We have this drive and desire to beat the competition and all that stuff. I think in some ways where that goes wrong is people start obsessing over that, rather than focusing on actually being the best. If you compare yourself to other clinics and then you just more or less copy what they're doing, it's helpful to a point, right? I mean, if this clinic's doing a great job doing X, Y, or Z, hey, maybe I could do a little bit of that, right? Of course, basic business tenets of, hey, they have great systems and their flow is really good, and this is how they prescribe stuff. Love all that. Copy and paste, okay? I teach people how to do that for a living. However, you have to be a leader in your space and in your community. You have to be that, as Daniel Priestley, one of my favorite guys out there right now, talking about being a key person of influence. I'm not talking about becoming a celebrity or a freaking like literal TikTok influencer. I'm just talking about you becoming that key person of influence. Someone who leads. They're not following. They're not copying and pasting. They're leading. And one of the ways you do that, one of the ways you lean into that is by being outrageously and authentically you, practicing being creative. How do you write? How do you speak? What clothes do you wear? Do you wear earth tones like I do? And organic cotton and linen? Because I'm a wild guy. Do you like books? Do you display books in the background? I love reading. That's totally my thing. Do you like whiteboards? And do you see my whiteboard every now and then in some of these videos? Like, be unbelievably and authentically you, not someone else. The clinic is the same. Please don't do Pottery Barn style clinics, guys. Please get away from the Apple Store vibe too, okay? Other people have done that. If you love that, if that's really your thing, and you look like a Swedish influencer with sharp corners, knock yourself out. But if that is not authentically you, don't do it for the cool factor, okay? Do what inspires you, do what ignites your soul, because patients are going to feel that through every ounce of your being, whether it's the clothes you're wearing, the way you're speaking, the things that you have in your office. Leading is also, again, being unbelievably obsessive about your shit, not other people's shit, okay? Everybody thinks the grass is greener. It ain't. Believe me, those clinics you think they're doing amazing, I see them all day long. Wow, that looks so cool. They go out of business all the time. Literally, there's a clinic that was in my neighborhood that went out of business. And they had just the most beautiful, amazing clinic I've ever seen. They looked really busy. They went out of business. You know why? Well, there's a lot of reasons why, but it's because they probably weren't being obsessive about their business inside and out. Be unreasonable to your patients and to your clients. I am not thinking about my competitor. I am thinking about how can I serve these people in the best way, shape, and form possible? How can I make things more simple? How can I take something that's really delicate and make it more robust? How can I take something that feels complicated and make it more seamless? How can I take all the roadblocks that are in the way and create something really magical and delightful for my patients? I think that is absolutely pivotal, and it will stand out, and it will stand the test of time. It will. It always does. But you can't be competing constantly with other people and copying and pasting their stuff. You got to do it. You got to be the leader. Okay, that's the point. The last point I'd make is, we're doing all these things, and you have to have a vision for the next year, for the next 5 years, for the next 10 years for your business. In fact, I think you should have a vision, a goal, a direction for every single thing that matters to you in your life. Your marriage, your finances, your kids, your family at large, the places that you live, the businesses or business that you own. You should have a very clear vision on where these things end up. It might not be, it might not be perfect, of course, every single time. Shit happens, life changes, but having that vision, that guiding light from the year to the 5-year mark to the 10-year mark, boy, does that make such a freaking difference, because we're not then focused on this day-to-day crap that really isn't probably moving the needle. So literally, if you're a clinic owner, I'm going to ask you this question. When you're 10 years into your business, then what? Are you going to sell? Are you going to hire some other people so that you can take some time off? Are you going to keep doing what you're doing? Are you planning on retiring ever? What is the plan with your clinic at the 10-year mark? Are you young? Are you in your late 20s, or are you in your 60s? That 10-year mark is going to mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. But the point is, I have a strong feeling that most of you have no freaking clue what happens in 10 years. Is the business even around? Have a vision and a plan for your business over the next 5, 10, even longer years, so that you have this guiding light of exactly where things are going to end up. If you plan on selling your business, which, by the way, guys, like pretty much every business owner does. I mean, some business owners shutter up after a while, but at the end of the day, you need to sell it at some point. You need to be able to move on. Whether you're at retirement age, or maybe you're like, you know what, I'm 45. That was a fun run. I've got this other thing going on that I want to pursue. Maybe I'll sell the clinic. Well, are you prepared to do that? Did you have systems in place, right? Do you have SOPs? Do you have staff? Is it really, really reliant on you being there day to day? Or are you in a position where, oh, no, like I'm hardly here at all. I'm just managing and supervising. The ones who do obsess over the long game and they're not dragging their feet again every single day, those are the people who win. And they win in the short term too, because again, they have a vision, they have a goal and an objective that is far greater than the next 24 hours, right? The next 24 hours, all I'm doing is stuff that helps to achieve where I will be in the next 10 years. That makes a massive difference. So you got to move like that matters. Right? Practice makes perfect. You gotta play a game like you play in practice. And if you're not practicing for the game, then what's the point? If you're just dragging your feet and messing around the whole time, you're really not going to get anywhere. So that's pivotal. So don't dabble in this business world, guys. Don't make it a hobby. It's a part of your life. If you want to be successful in business, it has to be a part of your life. And that's scary to some people. I mean, it's like having a baby or getting married. It's a huge commitment. It really is. But it shouldn't be scary or daunting. I love being married. Being married is the best thing I ever did. Having kids, the other best thing I ever did. Incredible. Is it difficult and challenging? Sure, of course it is. But my life is unbelievably better with my wife and with my children. And my life is unbelievably better with my business, but it's because I took all these steps to make it that way. And I had a vision for that, and I'm never letting go of that vision. Now, I might need to pivot every now and then. I've had to do that multiple times. That'll never go away, right? If anything is true in life, it is that things change. And you got to be prepared for that. But if you have a vision, if you have a goal, and you have a direction, and you can take all 5 of these steps and master them and use that momentum in action to pursue your dreams, it's the system, it's the framework that leads you to prosperity. Plant the seeds and it'll grow, right? Water them every day and it'll grow. Just be consistent. Be obsessive about your business, be consistent in your business, and you'll live the life you've really ultimately always probably deserved. That is true. All right, guys, I'll stop rambling. Thank you so much. And we'll see you at the next episode.